What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Gimme presented by BetMGM. Why do we call it the Gimme, Amanda?
Because it's good. That's why.
I knew you knew that. This week, the Honda Classic at PGA National. It's tough conditions this week. Not as many birdies as we've seen over the first 2 months of the season. I'm Jason Sobel. She is, of course, Amanda Rose. Coming up, our perfect portfolios, our first round leader contest. We're going to build our ultimate DFS lineup. But first, Amanda, as always, we've got a prop, our own gimme prop at BetMGM. Sungjae Im, he's the favorite this week. He won here 2 years ago. He finished top 10 last year. We have boosted him for a top 5, including ties, to plus 300 at BetMGM, 3-1. Amanda Rose, what are you doing with that? You taking it?
You know, I like it. Those are really good odds for Sungjae. Won here, got his first win here. So I like it, but I don't love it because Sungjae really hasn't done anything too incredible this season. That makes me think he's definitely going to finish in the top 5 this week. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to take it, but it's a good bet. It's just not for me.
I like it. Sungjae is my favorite play. It sounds chalky, but of the top 5 or 6 players on the board, I'd rather dip down to the shortest odds with Sungjae than go with an Oosthuizen or a Fleetwood or a Koepka or somebody like that. That said, I just think there's too much randomness, too much volatility at the Honda Classic this week. So I'd rather not have Sungjae for a top 10 or top 5, I'd rather play some bigger numbers out there. But you're right. It's a good number. If you like Sungjae, go to BetMGM. It's a good number, boosted to 3-1. All right, let's take a look at the top of that board at BetMGM. And yes, Sungjae right there at the top, 12-1. Numbers are fluctuating in the books this week. BetMGM has them at 12-1. Brooks Koepka started the week at 20-1. Everybody on Brooks Koepka this week, the most liability, the most tickets, the most handle in most of the books out there. He has moved down to 16-1. Daniel Berger, his Florida State teammate, in the same spot. Not quite sure about that health status for Daniel Berger. Had a back injury just a few weeks ago. We'll see how he's feeling in a home game this week. Joaquin Niemann, fresh off that victory. Kudos to Joaquin. On Monday, I didn't think we would see him in this field come Thursday morning, but it looks like we will. He's going to back up that win at Riviera by indeed playing on the other side of the country just 1 week later. Louis Oosthuizen also at 18-1, and rounding out this top tier, Billy Horschel at 20-1 back in his home state of Florida. We'll talk about him coming up on the show. Perfect portfolios. Amanda and I have each been given $100 by our bosses. We can split it up however we'd like. And Amanda, we're doing it a little bit differently, a few more actionable plays within our portfolios this week. Let's start with our outrights. How many are you taking and who you got?
Yeah, I'm only taking two. This is a difficult course to figure out who's going to win because you see
Yeah.
guys that are top of their game, like Ricky Fowler when he won in 2017, but then you see guys kind of like Matt Jones kind of came out of nowhere. That's not a diss on his game. He just kind of came out of nowhere to win. So the two guys I'm going with are longer shot guys, two guys that have been playing good golf, and I'm just really waiting for them to play better. Denny McCarthy outright and Russell Knox outright. I'm going to put $20 on Denny, 10 on Russ. Now, Denny, I think his time's really close. He tied 6th at the Amex, tied 12th at Pebble, tied for 3rd here last year, getting 10.5 strokes on the field, 5.5 tee to green, almost 4 putting. And that's where it's going to come down to this week. I think as the course firms up, as the greens get firmer, it's going to be good for Denny. He can putt and show the world what he's worth. So I like that. And then Russell Knox, I mean, it's going to be a really windy, firm course out there. And Russ is great in the win. He has 3 tied for 30 through 3rd finishes in the last 3 starts. I think it's time to maybe change that up a little bit. So where are you going with your outrights?
One of these weeks, Amanda, Denny McCarthy is going to win a PGA Tour event. And when he does, you're going to be very rich.
I am.
You're the Denny McCarthy whisperer. I love it. I actually really do like that play. I'll be talking about Denny at some point on this show as well. All right. For my favorite outright play on the board, I've got 4 of them. I'm splitting it up between a few guys this week. My favorite outright play, I've practiced all week. I got to get his name right if I'm going to pick him to win. Christian Bezuidenhout. I think I'm doing pretty well with that. I've worked on it throughout the entire week. Plus 5,000. I'm putting $20 on him. Really good tee to green, really good around the greens. I know that's kind of like, well, that's sort of golf. That's kind of what you got to do. That's a good combination to have this week is, hey, I'm a good ball striker. And when I don't hit the greens, I can get up and down and grind out some pars. He has shown an ability over the years, to play some really good golf in some tough conditions. That's what we're going to see this week. Brian Harman, 41. I'm throwing $10 on him. Another guy really good around the greens. Russell Knox at 66 to 1. I think that's a good number for Knox. $10 on him. And my dart throw was actually, the odds aren't as long as I thought they were at the beginning of the week, but Dylan Fratelli, 80 to 1, just a little $5 dart throw on Fratelli there. Okay, we're going to get to more of our props in just a second. First of all, let's talk about PGA National. And yes, I mentioned, is going to be tough. 15 holes with water on them. Last year, 277 balls found that agua. That is a whole lot compared to most other events. Of the 15 years they played this event at PGA National, only 4 times has the winner finished in double digits under par. One of those 4 was last year, Matt Jones at 12 under, but nobody else was better than 7 under. So it is indeed a place where if you throw up 4 rounds of 68, 2 under each day, you got a shot to win this thing. So let's get to our prop plays. And again, we've expanded the cards a little bit, Amanda, so we've got more than we usually do.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Jason, I'm still thinking about the 260 some odd balls that found the water. I'm trying to do the math. Retail price, if 12 of those retail around $50 each, is that like $5,000? I can't do math, but that's a lot of money. $500 maybe?
More than $500.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And speaking of a lot of money, a guy that I think can actually make you guys a lot of money this week is going to be Mac Hughes. So I'm going to do $20 on him for a top 20, tied for second here in 2020, tied for 36 last year. But this is where he turned his season around, his game around back in 2020. So I think this is a good place for him coming into this. He had tied for second at the RSM or second place at the RSM a few months ago. So he needs to get this season started. I'm going back to the wishing well or whatever the expression is. Denny McCarthy, $20 for a top 10. Now, if he doesn't win outright, I think he's going to have a really, really, really good week. Like I said, tied for third here last year. He made a lot of money on the floor in the Florida swing last year. So this is a guy that I think is good. He lives here. He plays these. He knows how to play these greens. He knows how to putt these greens. He knows how to play these courses. He can keep the ball dry. So Denny McCarthy, I'm double dipping with him back there.
All right, I'm going to start my card off with my prop plays with a top 5, Billy Horschel, who played really well on the West Coast swing, coming off finishes of 6th and 11th place in his last 2 starts. He's a Florida guy through and through, plays his best golf in the Sunshine State. So the fact that it's not like he's coming off a few missed cuts on the West Coast, he actually played really well on the West Coast. Now he's coming to the East Coast where he plays even better traditionally. Like him for a top 5 at plus 450. And then Alex Noren, who's another guy that I just think that when the conditions are tough, He can grind out fairways and greens and two-putt pars. It's not going to be sexy. It's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be a whole lot of fun to watch, but it should be able to get the job done. Top 10 plus 333. All right, finish off your props, Amanda.
Yeah, so a guy that you mentioned, kind of on injury watch still is Daniel Berger. I took him for top 5, put $10 on that. Now, he lost in a playoff to Padraig Harrington here, first time he played in 2015. Tied for 4th in 2020, the last time he played the event. He grew up in this area. He plays really well in windy conditions. He can flight his ball well. He putts the ball well. He has very few weaknesses in his game. And I think that anywhere where you need to have very few weaknesses, PGA National is one of those courses. So I'm going to put $10 on top 5 there. We'll see how he feels, but I think we could have some kind of like crazy week from him this week. Another guy who I could be a risky play is I'm going to put $10 on Ricky Fowler. Like I said, he won here in 2017. He has 3 other top 10 finishes here. Solo second in 2019. He is made for Florida courses. He's been living down here for over a decade. He knows this course well. He's played this event so many times. It's a regular stop on his schedule. Ricky Fowler is a Florida swing guy through and through. And I think his game is coming back around, and it's going to come back around in Florida if it's going to come back around anywhere.
Putting has been an issue recently for Ricky Fowler. A new putter in the bag this week. We'll see if that is the missing ingredient for him. All right, I'm going to finish off my props with Sam Ryder for a top 20. He might still smell from the stench of beer after that beer shower following his ace at 16 that went viral, was all over the place at the WM Phoenix Open. What most people might not realize that the next day he finished in 23rd place, went out to LA last week, finished in 26th place, riding a medium heater, a lukewarm heater, we'll put it. He also finished the share of 8th place at this event last year, second round 63. So I've got him at 4-1 for a top 20. And then my guy, I can finally bet him again when he gets back on Bermuda greens. I'm being conservative, but I still am a big fan of Doc Redman's game. At some point, it's going to start coming around for him again. Yeah, conservative, top 40, plus 190, $10. Not a monster play. We're not going to get rich off of this one this week, but I just kind of want to get in there on Doc a little bit before that price drops. All right, let's get to our ultimate DFS lineup. We do it every week on the Links and Locks podcast with Golf Bet. And of course, check out our models and tools and optimizers and all the other good stuff on Fantasy Labs. All right, we're going to pick 6 players on DraftKings, salary cap of $50,000. Amanda, you're going first because that's just how it always works.
Yeah. So Mr. Florida swing last year was Lee Westwood. He shot 67, yes. Tied for 3rd in the first round in 2020, tied for 4th that week. He came into this event last year after 2 solo second finishes. He ended up missing the cut, but last year, if you remember, viewers, obviously Jason remembers, this tournament was the end of the Florida swing. So guys had just played the Players, which is not an easy course. They play Arnold Palmer or Bay Hill, not an easy course. So coming into the Honda, they were kind of tired. So I think this is a really good year for Lee to kind of get back into the swing of things. He has 2 tied for 4th and 2 tied for 9th finishes at this event. He plays well in Florida. You see a lot of the English guys play well in the wind on these firm courses. So I like Lee Westwood. You're getting a good price on him. Hasn't played much this season. Lee Westwood.
I am absolutely shocked, Amanda. You took a player at 7,800 on the DraftKings board who wasn't Denny McCarthy.
I did.
I'm amazed. I'm not even mad. I'm just amazed. So I guess
don't count your chickens before they hatch, Jace. We still got time.
I'm taking Denny McCarthy before you have a chance to do it. Give me Denny on the board. You've been taking him everywhere the entire year so far. You've taken him already with an outright. You've taken him with a prop. I'm taking him and putting him in our DFS lineup before you even have the chance. I don't even have to say anything about him because you've said all there is to say about him already, but I love Denny McCarthy in the lineup. And the best part about it, I know you're not going to complain about me putting him in our lineup this week.
I'm not going to complain about that at all. Sorry. I just heard the dogs trying to break down the kitchen gate. I think they're hungry. So Lucas Glover, I'm going to take him now. This is also a risky play. His career has kind of been having a resurgence last year or so. And I think this is a place for him to play well. His best finish this season is a tie for 5th at the Sony. And, he finished tied for 4th here in 2013 and 2019. He gained I don't know what I was trying to write there,
but gained something.
I believe when I read it, he gained like 10 and a half strokes both of those years on the field. I kind of messed up my
He's
typing.
been making gains in the gym. Maybe that was it.
I said gains top strokes, whatever the heck that means. So I like Lucas Glover at this event. Another guy that plays well in Florida. He's a former US Open winner. So he's not a shabby golfer. Granted, it was really wet at Bethpage when he won, and this is going to be firm and fast, but we've seen in the past that he does well at this event.
Yeah, no, it was a long time ago, but there is a correlation to, hey, I've won a US Open, and so I'm good at playing in tough conditions. There's going to be tough conditions this week. I get it. That makes sense to me. All right. One of the players that I am most bullish on for this entire year, and I've talked about him a bunch already, is Keith Mitchell. Mm-hmm. Usually plays terribly on the West Coast. This year, went out to Hawaii, played on the West Coast. In 4 starts, he's already got a 7th, a 10th, and a 12th place finish. Now he's riding that heater coming over to the East Coast where he's already won at the Honda Classic 3 years ago. That was back when he was 250-1 and no one really knew who he was. And he came out of nowhere, major long shot to win that week. Obviously loves this course, obviously playing well, and now goes back to a place where it's a little more familiar and friendly and where he's played well in the past. At 9,100, really like him this week.
Yeah, and now I'm going to go back to another risky play, player I already picked, Ricky Fowler. I mean, he won here in 2017. He has 3 other top 10 finishes, solo second in 2019. Like I said, he's a great player in Florida. You've seen how he's played in Open Championships. Guess what, guys? They're windy there. You know what else is going to be windy? PGA National. So Ricky Fowler has a nice low penetrating ball flight. He can really flight it well. Like you said, Jace, there's a new putter in the bag this week. Hopefully he can get something going because I think these greens are going to be very firm. They're going to be very fast. They're going to be tough. So if you can putt well, that levels out the entire field. This isn't one of John Rahm's putting contest or whatever he was complaining about. So I think this is actually going to be a very good test. And it's a shame John Rahm isn't here to show us what a good putter he is.
This is the 2nd straight week, Amanda, that you have left me money.
I know.
To spend with our final pick. I have more than 10,000 to spend, but I don't love some of those guys at the top of the board where you can spend up. I'm going to save some money. I'm going to leave some on the table there, which is always a desired play in big GPP contests. Leave some money on the table, be able to differentiate from the masses. Now I'm going down also, like you with Fowler, a player that I've mentioned already, a player that I have in a prop play for a top 5, Billy Horschel, 9,600. I said it already about him, plays his best golf in Florida. He's got a couple of top 10s and 9 career starts. Not as great a record as I would have expected from Horschel at this event because he does play well on tough golf courses, but I do think something good is coming for him this week. All right, there's the lineup. Westwood, McCarthy, Glover, Mitchell, Fowler, Horschel. Ship it. All right. As always, we have got a first round leader contest, an FRL, as they say, contest at GolfBet on Twitter. Give us your favorite first round leader play, and you have a chance to win some very cool merchandise from GolfBet. And as always, we're going to try to help you out. The last leg to our perfect portfolios here, Amanda. Where are you going? How are you going to help the people here?
Yeah, so I'm going to put $10 on an Aaron Wise first round lead. Now, I got to say,
that was very close to an Aaron Rye. It was an Aaron Wise, Aaron Rye, like we'll put them together.
They are really, they're very similar, but also whenever I will pick Aaron Wise in our DFS, like when we text back and forth, I'll just say Wise whenever you pick Wise, like I'll say something. And if you respond with Wise at first, I'm like, oh, he likes my pick. And then I'm like, no, that's a player. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. So Aaron Wise.
Trust me. I never like your picks. I'm picking Aaron Wise. I'm not calling you Wise. Just want to throw that out there for future reference.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So Aaron Wise, he shot 664, tied for second in the first round last year. He tied for 13th. On the week, he was kind of coming back from struggling. He was like missing cuts and then he was finishing in the top 20. And then he was missing cuts and then finishing in the top 40. It was like a really volatile season for him. Although he played his college golf on the West Coast, he's actually really good in Florida. He gained 8.5 strokes on the field last week when he tied for 13th. Now that's a lot of strokes gained for someone that didn't finish in the top 10. I like his game here. I think this is kind of the time of year that he starts to warm up. He starts to play really well. And like I said, this is a great course for him. We saw how he played here last year.
All right. So once again, full disclosure, we make these picks earlier in the week, and we made them this week before the tee times come out. So I think there's a little edge to the tee times, and I'm going to get into my play. Grayson Sigg, who is 80-1 for the first round leader. I'm throwing $10 in my portfolio on him. Round one scoring average this season for Grayson Sigg, 68.36. That's nearly 2 full strokes better than his round 2, round 3, or round 4 scoring averages. In fact, he's been under 70 in 8 of his last 9 opening rounds. The only one where he wasn't was the Farmers Insurance Open. He just happened to play Torrey South the first round. If he played Torrey North first, it would be 9 for his last 9, sub 70. So all that said, the only thing I don't like about Grayson Sigg is that he's got an afternoon tee time. I know over the last few weeks on the West Coast, we said that afternoon might be better. It warms up. The ball flies a little further. It should be better scoring conditions. When we get to Florida, hey, it's going to be warm all day. The wind's going to kick up, especially on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the wind's going to lay down a little bit at PGA National. But Thursday, there's a little discrepancy between those early guys and the late guys. And so I am looking at some of the early guys, but I locked in Grayson Sigg early. And like I said, I do like his number for a first round leader play. All right, let's recap those portfolios. Amanda's got McCarthy and Knox outright. Prop plays on Hughes, McCarthy, Berger, and Fowler, and Aaron Wise for first round leader. She's not being wise. She's picking wise. Okay. From my outrights, Bezadenhout, Harmon, Knox, and Fratelli. My props, Horschel, Noren, Ryder, and Redmond. And my first round leader play, Grayson Sigg. And once again, you can put in your first round leader play at GolfBet on Twitter and try to win some cool stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching this latest episode of the Gimme presented by BetMGM. Remember, go to GolfBet for all of our content for the Honda Classic this week and every other week throughout the PGA Tour season. For Amanda Rose, I'm Jason Sobel. Good luck with all those Honda Classic bets. Here's hoping you guys hit the green.